Generic greetings and welcome back once again to Prison Architect, where in the previous episode we started to produce license plates in this workshop here. It's something that we got sorted and did the training for, and it's working out quite well. We've produced a total of 80% of our license plates for the prisoner manufacturing facility, which will then give us 10 grand, which will allow us to make some more buildings, but we could do many things. We could either go over here and place in the other common room and whatever this building happens to be. We could go ahead and expand, although that's going to take a lot more money, and to be fair, we would need to build the kitchen and canteen first, and then finally over on the right hand side to build the other visitation. However, a lot of people have suggested that what we do is we build this building, and instead of having this being a common room and a something else, because we're not going to have probably two laundries, we have this top one here as, or we'll probably move the entrance, well, we'll see. Anyway, we'll probably have the bigger room to be the infirmary, and I think that's actually a semi-decent idea, so we might go ahead and do something like that. Currently minus 9 degrees C, obviously endless winter on this one. It hasn't really caused us too much of a problem. If we just take a look there, we can see that temperature is fairly okay. It's only in the kitchen really that it is a bit of an issue. I do want to try and increase the grading. If we go over to that, we can see that punishment is 6, reform 3, security 1, and health is low at minus 3. A lot of that is to do with the amount of overdoses and drugs and stuff, and that's always going to be thrown over the wall. But we have recently, or relatively recently, started some drug rehabilitation programs, so hopefully that'll be able to curb that a little bit. But also we want to try and give them the well-fed trait, which we can see in grading here, and if we did that we would gain a nice bonus there. But as soon as I tried to put that on, the game sort of came in and kicked us in the face by saying reduce meal quantity and variety to low. So that's what we've had to do there, sadly. But we'll see that what we can do there. That's only got another 10 seconds to go, so done. And now the CEO's calling. The food budget experiment is over and the results are inconclusive. Free to set your policies back to whatever you wish. So let's go over to that and we'll just check our policy here. We're going to change that to meal quantity high and variety to high. And then what we'll do, if we just check our regime there, you can see it's, where is it, just before the shower there. I don't think we'll have enough chefs in order to do that, because what I want to do is probably change the eat time to the lock, but have lockup be at the start and the end. But we'll see how that one goes. We'll have to experiment with that somewhat, because it's normally something we don't really touch. Obviously with the place being very cold, that is going to affect the health of the prisoners as well, so there's never going to be an ideal solution to this thing, but we'll just do what we can. So as I mentioned earlier, there was a plan to perhaps change this building to be an infirmary. Why is Featherstone going that way? Let me just search the prisoner and see if Featherstone has something on them. Previously they were working in the workshop, and no, they're not doing anything wrong, or maybe they were heading to do something wrong. We will never know. Anyway, up here once again, let's just see. We've got this building at this size. What sort of size do we have? 12, so you can have a full row along there if you wanted to, and then we could have like a something like that, have your door in there for example, and then we'll have some more on that side, so you can have the beds down that side like so, beds down that side like that, and we just won't have a morgue. We could technically make this a morgue if we really wanted to, but I'm not too sure it is of really any benefit. There's Sean Crouch there, prison number 10075 something something, search the prisoner. I was going to read the rest out, but quite frankly I think we just need to search him first before he runs away. And yeah, some poison has been thrown over the wall. You can see there's some teaching under the psychologist there from, well, to Mackenzie there, and we can see that they are going through alcoholics group therapy. Success chance is middling, although let's just check out our programs. Alcoholics group therapy, there's only one in the queue, so it is, well, it says 14 in the queue, but they're not actually doing it. I think it's simply because of when they're working, which is a bit of a shame. Anyway, we are currently producing some license plates. You can see it's going up on the left hand side. They're up to 90% now, so 93, 96, and one more, and there we go. That is 10 grand that we have now produced some license plates. That also means that we can go to grants and pick up another grant. We have MaxSec infrastructure, we have carpentry apprenticeship, and that's the only ones we can get for the time being. MaxSec infrastructure will give us the biggest boost to start with, and that's quite good. We can unlock tasers and body armor through bureaucracy. Well, to be fair, body armor and tasers are not a terrible thing to go for anyway. Body armor in general, it doesn't have any downside, it just costs more. I don't think it slows them down or anything like that, and it certainly doesn't provide a suppression effect as far as I'm aware, or any sort of reduction in danger level or altering of the prisoner's psychology or needs. But the tasers, although they don't, you do have to do the training and hand them out, and I don't think we need that, mainly because of the amount of prisoners that we have. There was some discussion regarding these two cells here and changing these over to be high risk instead. Still not too sure about that. I think it's a good idea. I just don't know when we're going to go ahead and do that. But anyway, let's just go ahead and build this building here. As I said, this one down the bottom there doesn't really have a purpose, although I am very tempted to place I'm very tempted to change that over to a cleaning cupboard and then have this as something else, but haven't yet decided anyway. So it'll take a while to go ahead and do that. Looks like we've got an overdose in that cell and they are taking them over to the center. Obviously, we're going to try and remove that and put it in the center there. This one, we could change that to a morgue. Actually, what we could do with this bottom one, we could have this as another office instead, and that's a thing. Let me just change that. We could have that as, say, a 5x4 like that, and that is another office, and then the back here we have an entrance, and then these could be morgue slabs like that. That's not a terrible idea, and it means that the psychologist is out there, and then we can run those behavioural therapies. I actually quite like that idea, so I might go ahead and do that. Anyway, building a brick, and then we will go ahead and place that across there. I'm hoping they don't change all this, but we'll see. We will need to put in the doors as well, because I forgot to do them, so I think I'll put in standard door on either side, simply because we know how it all works anyway. Even if you place it as a staff door, they're still going to have to go back and forward and do other things as well. Let me just search that prisoner there. That's Alex Simpson. We saw them just hanging around the wall, and we don't really know why, but looking at it, looks like to be... oh, just... no, nothing. Oh, they're also shouting about warmth. We've also had a dingling noise there. That is the body armor, so that is good. We're now working on the tasers, and we need also CCTV monitors. Now, the CCTV monitor is a bit different because, yeah, it's deleted the wall in the center there. I thought it might do something like that, which is why normally I don't place it in, but there you go. I'll place that in like so, and then what we'll do is we'll move this stuff over. This will also require heating. Very imperative we get that more early on, to be honest with you, simply because how cold this place is going to be. And if there's one thing you don't want your infirmary to be, it is quite cold. So there we are. They're going to place all that stuff there. We're not going to have that as staff only just yet. We'll have to move the office over, but we'll... I was going to say clone it, but probably not. Let me just go over to this and type in office, and we're going to place that as an office. We've also got a spare one in the center, which I'm going to remove. I'm going to also remove the psychologist's office, and then we're going to build up this. So we also need to put a door on this morgue as well. We'll use a staff door because the prisoners do not require any access into that. We will have a staff desk in, well, it doesn't really matter. We'll say sort of a staff desk. Do I want to put it this side like that? That's better. Place that in there. Nice comfy chair there. And then finally we've got a chair. Couple of chairs there like so. We'll run some power into that, and as you can see the power line comes directly across, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Because of that door, I'll run this into there because we're gonna have a metal detector on this thing, so maybe running into the center and then down to there would probably do the job quite nicely. We've got another overdose, and it looks like the prisoner has been brought over to the infirmary. Let's do a tunnel search, I think, because we haven't done one in a little bit of time, and that's something that we are seeing a lot more of, strangely. A lot of people trying to tunnel out and such. Looks like we've got some drugs there, cell phones. This is all just being stashed in the toilet. Remember, we're not doing a full shakedown here. We're just searching the toilets, so it shows you just how much stuff there is in and around this prison, so... yeah, and we get bonuses for doing this as well. Looks like the psychologist is now in their office. Let me go over to our, where would it be? Into our programs. I'm going to reschedule all the programs there just to try and get it a bit better. And then we're going to go down to behavioural therapy. We've got 5 in the queue. We'll probably only be able to do a couple of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, you can only do the 3 there. In terms of well-fed, are the prisoners well fed? Now, I don't think they will be at this stage, simply because... no. Oh, no, we have a little... it says 0 points or 2% well fed. No. No, it doesn't look like that is the case, sadly. No. We'll just have to keep going. I'm going high quantity and high variety. I'm also tempted to get a couple more cooks in order to facilitate that. I'm also thinking of expanding the kitchen to put some more cookers down there and then some more freezers there, because as you can see, it's not all connected up, and I think that would be of some benefit. Let me just go there, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and then behind it we got the cookers, which can go... Normally there's a gap of 2. I think I'll just place the fridges along here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I'll mirror it on this side, so there, and there. Double check our electrical cables not connected, but that will connect them up quite nicely. Actually, cancel that and that, and just run it down like that, and that should be fine. Okay, so there's our extra fridges. We can see that the prisoners are eating. Well-fed status effect. Do you see that on that one there? We got a well-fed on that one. We got well-fed. Yeah, so that's good. Having well-fed will hopefully start to increase the health of these people here. And a lot of them, just after eating there, are now going to go and... whoa. Okay, that is a prisoner died straight away. Murdered by prisoner. No traits that I can see. Right. Okay. Murdered by prisoner. This guy, obviously. Murder. Security level minus, what a surprise. No reputations that we know of. They obviously have a reputation. We can see that they have a reputation. We just don't know what that is. Why did they go ahead and do that? We're going to have to keep an eye on them. And it might be worth activating some things as well. Anyway, over to here. We will change this to deployment. Staff only. Change that back bit to staff only. Just double checking some of these other bits. Thought the laundry was staff only for a second there, but no, it's not. Sometimes it just looks that way. That's about fine. That's right there. That's not got a wall on the outside, which I do need to sort out at some point. Right, okay, so what we're going to do is go ahead and dismantle object, and we're dismantling all of these medical beds, and we're going to move the infirmary. So let's do that. So infirmary. This is probably the best time to do it as well, because if it's closer to the night, or I guess more accurately, when the prisoners have a little bit of free time, they just take loads of drugs, which is not classed as optimal, to say the least. Some may even say it's suboptimal. There's our morgue. Like I say, we don't technically need one in the facility, but we are going to have one. In terms of the amount of staff we have for doctors, I am going to get another doctor. I think that would be worth it. You can see the money that we have is going right down, and the chief is now calling. One of the spiritual leaders we bring for our religious programs has been riling up the inmates with all kinds of hateful speech. They've been fired, but the prisoners will take some time to cool down. So we can see that the prisoner says well fed, 40 of them at least. However, they may have some status effects. Well, there's the exposure, which we were expecting when they're outside. Not seeing any sort of any people getting riled up or anything. No, the well-fed though. I'm also seeing that that fellow, David Strait, search prisoner, is currently holding, has just flashed a homemade rope there. Going to go over to intelligence and informants. We can see that we do have some new people come in, but none of them which have traits. We still don't know how what Daniel's traits are. Oberlechner, I think that is. Prisoner number 072389. Oberlechner. We could activate some people. Scott Eads we're going to activate. So we're going to see what they know. Chislett Tim, looks like they didn't get their parole, which is good for us. They are now being escorted to this security room, and we will be talking to them. So, on a pause, we can see that people have some stuff on them. They are telling us about all of this. Drugs stashed, we've got medicines, needles, things like that. We can see that the ex-prison guard has been targeted, but the snitches aren't necessarily being targeted. But they only have a 51% coverage, so maybe that's that. Anyway, we understand that. We will deactivate those and wait for Tim to come along. I want to see what they know. They have a 60% coverage, and yeah, you can see that these are getting targeted. I believe that they do get targeted as standard, so that's what's happening there. It's just the percentage, so that's why we don't know that the other person's been targeted, but we do know, really, don't we? Because the snitches and the other stuff always, the snitches and the ex-prisoner guards and ex-law enforcement always are targeted anyway by default. So let's just place our medical beds along there, and then place the medical beds along there, and we have a little bit of room where we will, I guess, not place anything. Oh no, sorry, my mistake. We can place a medical bed in there. I've just messed up the planning tools a little bit. And let's go ahead, and before anything else, I'm going to place a radiator in probably there. And we need to have one in here as well. So we'll place a radiator in there. And then a radiator in probably that corner there. That should do the job quite nicely. One there and one there, and then that will warm up. You can see that Jackson here, Felix Jackson, prison number 10029921, sentenced for 23 years for manslaughter. You can see they are going through the behavioural therapy, checking out their health there. You can see we have got some extra points because of that well-fed, which is excellent. It's the exercising which we don't have, which is a problem, which is why a lot of people have suggested that we put the yards inside. Oh, hang on. We have a bit of fighting around here. We've got Gypsy's Jacob fighting. Apparently their biography is 123. Excellent. Tough and fearless. Don't know why they kicked off though. It doesn't really say. Anyway, we're going to prioritise the heating, and we'll see what happens there. Yes, perhaps changing these yards to indoors would work out. The problem is these guard pavilions that we've got really, I mean, if we're being honest with each other, they don't currently have a purpose. We don't have anyone stationed on them. Anyone that's stationed on them has exposure anyway, and we don't need them because if it's going to kick off, it's going to kick off probably in the cells or in the places that you might expect, like parole or when they're working like that. And look at that. It looks like the common room is used a lot for working, whereas the yard nobody goes to because it is freezing cold. So, yeah, I don't really know what to do there. Having that indoors might work out. As I said, the whole point in these guard pavilions in this sort of compound was following on from what we did in the previous series, but it's never truly worked. If we had these yards indoors, we could heat it, we could still have the bleachers, and we could still have the weights benches, it just would be indoors. Someone did ask what happens if you put a... Well, let's place a water pipe across there, shall we? What happens if you put a radiator outside? My original feeling was that it does nothing at all. Oh, don't say that's just out. Oh, it's no, it's just didn't connect because I didn't do it. There we go. We don't need to heat up the morgue. In fact, one would argue that you want a cold morgue. Yeah, what happens when it's outside? Well, I'm not entirely sure. So I thought I was sure, but I'm not. Let's place one on the outside. I reckon it'll just heat up that tile and do nothing else. Let's see. Now, obviously, it doesn't drain the water. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't calculate heat, as far as I'm aware, for like how much electricity it uses or anything like that. It's not as advanced as that, but let's see what it does. So that's a radiator. I reckon that tile's going to be warm and the rest is going to be freezing. Yeah, so you can see that if you're... It's currently -9... Hang on. That's interesting. It's currently -9. But it's actually +0 everywhere. It's just 0 degrees. Alright? But if you stand on that radiator, lovely 21 degrees. Let's dismantle the radiator. I would have thought it'd be -9 elsewhere. Prioritise the dismantle of that. 21 degrees C, yeah. So, nah, the radiators, they don't do anything outside. Well, they do. They technically warm up the bit that they're in, but that's it. So we'll dismantle that radiator. I've told them to do it. It's just taken a while. And there we go. And no, it didn't alter the temperature. Yeah, the fact that it says -9, but that says 0 degrees is slightly worrying. So yeah, there could be some merit of changing that to changing these two to be indoors. Haven't yet decided. Really haven't yet decided. But how we're doing for the workshop? How many people do we have working? Oh, we've got an overdose in the morning. Looks like we've caught them straight away and they're taking them in there. What I can do now, which I'm happy to say, is go to staff only, change that staff only as well as the outside staff only. So it's entire... Oh, and apparently that needs to be changed to staff only. That's very strange because that there is not actually a room. It's not indoors, it's not foundation. It's simply a building. So that's a bit of a breakaway. Maybe it's a foreshadowing of things to come, perhaps. So yeah, we've got 3 overdosed in the morning. Typical. So yeah, do we want to change this to... Do we want to change this to indoors? And then they will get that workout stuff. The thing is, we don't really need... All the people I clicked on, it's him. No, don't know his reputations yet. You can see the well-fed trait is helping out that health rating. Not overall across the board by the look of it. In fact, a lot of them don't even say well-fed. 55 prisoners well-fed. I mean, eventually there will be. Yeah. So they just need more exercise. And... more exercise and more food. Problem with the food is that, well, yeah. Look at the minuses. Minus 1,694. That's a lot of money. What I'm going to do, I'm going to change this eat time to free time. And just see what happens when they eat on a night. Alright? That should hopefully alter our daily cash flow. We shall see. Still going through the Alcoholics Group Therapy. Still going through the Reform Through Education Initiative over here. No, not yet. We're still going through the behavioural therapy and all that sort of thing. Let's see what other programs we can change. What time is it now? It's currently lock-up. That's the perfect time to do a reschedule of all programs just to see who's going to work there. 21 interested, but only one's going to work there, so I'm going to stop on that. Behavioural therapy, same thing. Oh no, it looks like it's been assigned there. Parole hearing, we can keep going. Spiritual guidance is fine. Carpentry apprenticeship, one is interested. We might as well start that. And general education, are 13 in the queue for the pharmacological treatment of drug addiction, which we'll reschedule. There we go. So, we're going to spend even more money now, which is a problem. How much is the behavioural therapy? 200 a session. At this stage, I can't afford to keep it running. So I'm going to stop that. Pharmacological treatment, only 1% going through. One person going through it. Carpentry, nobody. So, yeah, we'll see if that money goes down. The expenditure goes down when we do just the one time for food. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and do this MaxSec infrastructure, which is CCTV monitor and CCTV cameras throughout the facility. So let's do just that. So it is actually, do I want to change it to security? We'll change it to a security room. That actually helps if I go on security room, and then we'll place that in like so. This room will require an office desk, which can go there. It will require a chair, which we're going to place in the office chair like so, and then also require a filing cabinet, which we can use and place there. In terms of the CCTV monitor, it's not actually unlocked, so that's a bit different. Let's go for unlock of that. We're not going to go for a taser out. We don't need guard towers. Don't currently need legal, but tax relief we probably could go for, but we'll see. So we can see that over at the top there, prisoners are being well fed. The prisoners will be well fed in one go, just because of how we've set it up. When they eat this, oh look, that's food still cooking there. Food is still cooking. Wow, okay. They will be well fed even with one session, but there won't be as many of them, and also, more importantly, they won't be well fed as long. So, yeah, do I want to get taser roll out? No, we don't need it. We really don't need it. We're going to do a full shakedown tonight. Might as well. That'll probably give us some money. Doesn't look like... I mean, changing the meal quantity and variety, it doesn't look like it's worked. At least we have got our total pay rise thing back to normal. There's 2 overdoses straight away. We will do a shakedown, and there we go. We have a total of 430 places to search. This will obviously give us a lot of money, which is our consulting fee for our warden there. which is going to be quite good. Speaking of the wardens, it looks like I forgot to mention this in the last episode, but the Paradox announcements and such, we're going to get I think it's is it the Psych Ward DLC, which previously was a console exclusive. So that should be interesting, and I believe that'll also bring in some wardens as well. So that should be quite good and mix it up. And they've also teased like an island thing where you can see the camera sweeping over the sea or a lake or just some body of water basically. And it looks like that might be something that we're going to get. So like an Alcatraz-y style island facility and everything else that goes with that. So pretty good. That's in 2020 though, that one. So there's the search pretty much complete. I'm going to stop it now just because of how far it's went and how long it's going to take. Well, it looks like we've got a tiny little tunnel. Strangely, they were digging out that way, but they were found under that way. So they must have been trying to join up with this other person. So there you are. Danger level flying up mainly because they are saying they've been unnecessarily searched recently. We can see that there's a lot of food already being placed on here. Let's just see roughly how many prisoners say that they are well fed. So at the moment it is none, but actually no, it's free time, so it's of course. Why have they put the food out now then? They put the food out now. I wonder if they're going to cook the food all the way to then. I very much doubt it. I very much doubt it. Anyway, danger level is still... Why is that? Oh yes, it requires a chair. So danger level is still at the... low and decreasing, which is good. That's what we want. However, the money... Oh, it has actually altered. There we go. It'll probably just take a time to alter. Obviously, if you alter the quantity to medium, I mean, it drops it by 33%. Drops by a third, which is brilliant. Anyway, security. Let's get this CCTV stuff up and running. So we want a CCTV monitor, which we can place 1, 2, 3 if we want to on that side. So that is fine. That's what we'll use that for. A phone tap will go on this side, and a door control system, not yet. So in terms of CCTV, we're going to place CCTV in there, CCTV in there, CCTV in there. We don't need it anywhere else. And look at all the overdoses. Wow, that's fairly bad. That is. We'll place a CCTV camera in here, so that's 1, 2, 3. We'll place 1 there, 4, 5. We already have people patrolling there, so we don't need it. Nor do we need it around there. We've got people patrolling there. Realistically, there's nowhere else we need one. Are we going to place them elsewhere though? Realistically, I don't know where else we can place it, although for some reason it's done anyway with that one, so I'm not too bothered. Over to grants. Carpentry Apprenticeship Program. We might as well pick that up. We have now completed the MaxSec infrastructure. We do need to obviously connect this up to the grid. Speaking of the grid, double checking that, you can see it is in the danger level. It's over 80%, so that can go kaboom, but there's not much we can do about that. We'll go over to connections. Phone tap will connect up to, yeah, you guessed it, all of the phones, which I think we do need some more of because these prisoners do seem to use that quite a bit. We also have some phones down there as well in our protective custody area, and I don't believe there are phones elsewhere. However, we also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can place 1 more before you have to start looking at other things. So in terms of grantage, we have the Reform Through Education Initiative. We have 10 prisoners pass the foundation education course. That's a 40%er, which is good. Have 1 prisoner pass general education course. No. And raise our prisoner capacity to 100. No. And produce 10 superior beds. Well, we are... Oh, hang on. I didn't connect that one up there. So yes, we have got the right amount. I just miscounted it. My mistake. As always, clicky, and there we go. This thing here we will probably expand. Let me just double check our utilities and go over to capacitors, and I want to run the capacitors open round and just complete it, to be honest with you. I know it's going to cost quite a bit, but it's probably quite a good thing. In fact, let's double check our where would it be? Programs, workshop safety induction. Only 4 passed. So there's no point. There's no point in expanding that workshop at this stage because there's not enough people to work there. Right, we're going to go over to the, well, to the right, and we're going to add some more stuff in the visitation area because, well, quite frankly, we can. There's no real other reason for it other than we can, so we'll place these in like so. It is simply copying what we've already seen down the bottom, and there's that put in. We do have a guard stationed in there. It is simply a station, and we haven't got that set to any particular time, although, to be fair, we probably could put it from there and there. Oh no, we can't, because you can't do that where you have to use the patrols. Do you want to set up patrols or just do stations? I think I'll just do stations. It's easier. There we are. And just double checking, yes, we have got the walkways going up to these sides as well, so that should all be fine. So we have that done there. That's been added. So overall then, not a bad bit of building. We've got our infirmary moved over to the left hand side with a morgue put in and a psychologist office. We have 2 spare spaces now for whoever. We probably won't need them officers. We might need one for legal if we go down that route. We do need to place some more walkways. We do need to I guess expand now. We have 31,186 generic units of currency, but money won't really be going up. We can change it. We can alter it so we don't feed them as much, and that will alter that one. But we're trying to really increase this health by the amount of food that we give them, and give them more nutritious and healthy meals and such. But the problem with that is if we just randomly check, health is actually quite good there. Health is actually... How do we manage to click on this guy all the time? Health is actually quite good. Oh, not that one. I think there's a huge disparity between the prisoners. So you have there prisoners who've got 3 to 5 rating, who are really, really relatively healthy, who are well fed and just exercise and that sort of thing. And then you got other ones that, well, have -5 because they have active addictions. So... yeah, that's the problem there, and I don't know what we can do to stop that. Other than just not have it, then I don't really know what the solution is. We knew that this was going to be a problem because of stuff being thrown over the wall, but at this stage, there's nothing much we can do about it. Technically, the only solution will be to expand that way, and then put a bigger wall around. Then nothing will be thrown over, and then we know for a fact that basically that health will just go straight up because of its because of the lack of stuff being brought and thrown in. Don't think we will do that though, because it's not really been on the cards. It was never planned that way. So yeah. Anyway, we will leave it there. Next episode, what I'm going to do is quickly build this kitchen and canteen. More likely, what I'll do is build the foundations for it, place it, and then expand. Although that requires 20 grand, which is quite a bit of money. And then get some more prisoners, trying to reduce this stuff down. What I also might do, now that we've done this experiment of the well-fed, I don't know if it's worth it at this stage, because we'll never get on top of that that use of all the narcotics and stuff. But we'll have a think and see how we get on. As always, hope you have enjoyed the video and the series thus far. Thanks very much for watching. Take care, and generic partings.